Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel, as if you didn't know. Got one thing I want to talk to y'all about. It's actually several pieces to the story because it's been progressing over about the last 48 hours. But we are at a point now, Trump is beyond pissed off. He's not using the F-bomb today, but he definitely needs to be biting his tongue to prevent from having to pay the swear jar. Truth be known, Trump is not happy about what is going on. They should be prosecuting. They should be prosecuted is the word right out of Trump's mouth. He's talking about these Democrat leakers that are probably in Congress that were probably part of some intelligence committee or some committee that involved knowing what was going on in Iran with the Iranian bunker getting bombed. Well, so now the story is coming out that CNN got their intel leak that they spun from some Democrat in Congress, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Investigations have already been threatened, and the story is developing as we speak. So we're going to go ahead and start from the get-go and get Trump's response today and go through the whole scenario of what's really going on. Let me put my goggles on, folks. Uh-oh. Kind of hair. Alrighty, let's get right into it. This is good stuff. Good to know, more than anything. But this ain't going to go down too well for the idiots at CNN. They may not just lose their job, but get sued, maybe have legal problems, maybe be prosecuted like Trump wants. That sounds great. Maybe Pam Bondi will jump right in on this and throw a couple of reporters in jail. I would love to see that, just not to infringe on free speech, but just because these lying fools that are trying to undermine our president's duty, job, and abilities and accomplishments with their spins, their lies, trying to give me the first one to get the story out and make it something that's not true. That is devious. I can't think of any country in the world that would put up with that from their press. Only in America, folks, and that's the truth. And I hate to see it, but we're going to get some solutions to this kind of stuff. The press is the enemy, and we all know it. And 90% of the press is the enemy. If I'm considered press at all, or like the Gateway Pundit, or even some Fox News, a lot of commentators, I would say podcasters now have taken over the news market, but truth be known, less than 10% of the entire media is conservative, but we're still getting our message out there because more than 50% of the population likes Trump, conservative-minded, love their country, believe in America first, and hopefully we can all get behind all these things that Trump is trying to do and just drown out the noise, the white noise from the left, from the radicals, from the rhinos, from the idiots throwing riots to get attention, I guess, or to distract from what's really going on. Now, what I wanted to really get with y'all about today is Trump said on Thursday afternoon he accused the Democrats of leaking the dubious intel assessment. That was earlier today with this particular truth. Says the Democrats are the ones who leaked the information on the perfect flight. It had to be perfect, Trump. To the nuclear site in Iran. They should be prosecuted, Trump said on Truth Social. Absolutely. Maybe that's a criminal referral from Trump to the DOJ, Pam Bondi, somebody over there that's going to actually do something. We'll have to get Cash Patel on it first, do some intelligence, maybe an investigation, take about 6 months, 2 years, I don't know. And then he's going to send it to Pam Bondi, and then maybe, just maybe, we can get him locked up in some expedient fashion. We'll have to see. I don't know. I hate to be skeptical at this point, but they're sure moving slower than I appreciate. But let's get back into it. Earlier Thursday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the Iran intelligence report was likely leaked from Congress. Ouch, that is not good. She says CNN says this report was reported on Tuesday by CNN, disclosed as an intelligence assessment strike about the intelligence assessment strike. Excuse me. CNN reported that according to a leak, an early assessment from the Pentagon's intelligence arm revealed that Iran's nuclear sites are largely intact, and the U.S. strike only set them back just a few months. We just dropped about 18 bombs on them, leveled land and underground, blew a big hole in the ground, but they're saying it only took a few months to rebuild all that, even though it took 15 years to get to this place from the minute they started digging the hole. Come on, man. Well, that's just crappy reporting, Trump hating, propagandists. They're propagandists. When they're promoting a lie to work against our government, that's not the media. That's not press. That's not freedom of speech. That is somebody trying to create a mutiny or an overthrow, or I don't know the proper term. I guess I would say you're trying to circumvent the president's ability to do his job by lying about what he is doing. There's just so many levels of this that I would consider treason. Leaking of the information is treasonous on its own, but then spinning it to be a lie seems like there should be some criminality that could be reached out and handed out to these clowns that let this happen. And it's the Democrats. The CNNs were just the pawns, part of the game, I'm sure. But they were happy to do it. You know how that goes. All right, and if you haven't seen it yet, folks, here is what I'm talking about. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it if you keep up on the news breaks, but this is the actual report we're discussing. The lie.
That it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged, the Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months. Now, we presented this information to the White House for comment, and White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she did acknowledge the existence of this assessment, but she said in a statement that the administration disagrees with it. She said, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets, total obliteration." Now, it is worth noting here that there has been dissent, I should say, within the intelligence community, within the defense community, about just how much of an impact these massive bunker buster bombs would actually have on Iran's nuclear facilities. It was far from certain, given that these bombs had never been tested in an actual combat scenario, whether they would actually penetrate those very, very deep underground tunnels.
I got to pause it for just a second. She has no comprehension of engineering, mechanics, thrust, propulsion, the velocity, what something that weighs 30,000 pounds will do when you drop it towards the ground and it's shaped like a missile, even if it doesn't have explosives on it. She has no clue what she's talking about, but she is talking like she's an expert about all this stuff. It's really kind of sickening to me. I hate to bring CNN to you folks. We're getting the whole 3 minutes in, but this was the beginning of the shit show that turned into most breaking news that's happened in the last 48 hours. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bite the bullet and finish the CNN clip and move on to the next one.
that lie underneath these nuclear facilities. And what we are told is that as of now, this Defense Intelligence Agency assessment, it does conclude at this point, again, it is still very early, that those underground facilities, including the centrifuges, including the highly enriched uranium that everyone has been talking so much about, those are largely intact. Now, of course, this does stand at odds with what President Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth have been saying in recent days about the impact of these U.S. military strikes. Of course, President Trump said it was totally obliterated, and Secretary Hegseth did as well. And he actually also provided CNN with a statement. And he said that, quote, based on everything we have seen, and I've seen it all, our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. Our massive bombs hit exactly the right spot at each target and worked perfectly. The impact of those bombs is buried under a mountain of rubble in Iran. So anyone who says the bombs were not devastating is just trying to undermine the president and the successful mission. Now, our sources did emphasize here that there was severe damage that was done largely to the above ground structures at these nuclear sites.
Did you catch that? She said, our sources say that there was a lot of damage on the ground. There's one building on the ground there that you could actually see that was above ground. The rest of it was below ground, and the building wasn't destroyed. It was probably a break room of some kind of facility that didn't involve the workings of the underground situation. Who knows? It may have been the elevator shaft. But truth be known, this lady's crazy. She's full of crap. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no expertise. And all in all, she claims to have experts, or not, I take that back. She claims to have boots on the ground making assessments. That's I guess real reporting. So somebody told her, and now she's telling you. That makes it the truth, right? I don't believe that they have any sources on the ground telling them this, unless it's Congress that's lying to them just to try to throw some shade on the whole mission, because Trump looks like a huge success in this whole situation, and they just hate him for it. I think that's what's really going on. All right, let's go on to the next one. I'm sick of her already. CNN backtracks and runs damage control after the threats of all kinds of stuff started flying. Trump said, y'all need to be prosecuted. That stirred up a crap storm. Pete Hegseth come out and basically broke down what exactly happened yesterday, and that should have put it all to rest. But still, even today, the story is hot on the fire, because the Democrats are doubling down on stupid. And more than that, we need to get to the bottom of who is leaking. And we'll get there, folks. Stick around. CNN is backtracking after President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth hit back hard against the fake news claims, citing a dubious intel assessment report on U.S. strike on Iran. Last Saturday evening, President Trump announced that he had just dropped bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. President Trump said the bunker busting bombs totally obliterated Fordo nuclear power plant, nuclear plant. No power there anymore. Satellite images of the Fordo plant showed before and after following Operation Midnight Hammer. Yeah, they got obliterated, no doubt about it. But since then, CNN correspondent has jumped in and told her version of the thing, which we just watched. So we're going to jump out of that, and we're going to go to some more interesting information about the same story. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day out there today. While I'm sitting here on the spool zone, I'm got the spooling going on. I figured I'd say shout out to everybody out there that jumps on my channel each and every day, loyal listeners, and those that are new to the channel, and those that are just chiming in for the first time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Says CNN, Brian Stelter, this is a very complex matter. CNN did not report that the mission was a failure. Damage control, folks. This is definitely some damage control.
There's so much more reporting to do on this topic. This is a very complex matter, even though Trump tried to make it sounds simple on Saturday night. It's really important to note what CNN did not report. CNN did not report that this mission was a failure. Far from it. It may have turned out to be a tremendous success. We just don't know all the facts yet, and neither does the U.S. government. There's so much more reporting to do on this topic.
Yeah, that is saying we may not have got it right. We don't know all the information. The story's not over. Yeah, we hear you. Just tell the truth. That's all we want. Just tell the truth. Wait for the facts to come out and spill them. Then you're allowed to throw your opinion on top, salt and pepper it a little bit, but at least give us the facts. That's all we want, folks. Truth aired on CNN finally. After spreading the fake news, it worked. It seemed to have worked flawlessly. Trump's got total vindication. I think from what I've seen, the 20,000 centrifuges, they are completely destroyed. And this here is Pentagon's top guy at the Pentagon. This is, what's his name? General Raising Cane's who this is. And he is one of the best as far as generals go.
What we now know from that briefing, first time we know it, is that as it was designed, as these massive ordnance penetrators with significant computer software engineering went directly down to those 3 ventilator shafts, specifically as designed. And until you actually do it, you never know if it's going to
I apologize. This is Brett McGurrick.
work. It worked. It seems to have worked flawlessly. That is very important information. He also pointed out some things we take for granted. You know, a Patriot interceptor is traveling at 3,000 miles an hour, about Mach 4, to hit a ballistic missile, traveling at about 6,000 miles an hour, Mach 8. This is really difficult. We take for granted how this stuff all works. I thought that was very important to lay out. So as I come out of this briefing, I now know BDA level 2, as I mentioned. Level 1, first 24 hours, you're looking at imagery. Level 2, did the ordnance work? Did everything go as we had wanted? The answer now is yes. And we're now in the phase of level 3, collecting all sources of information, and then putting that together with nuclear experts to determine if they have these pieces and parts here, could they reconstitute them? With some political analysts to say, would the Iranians do that? What would be the restraints? To then have a comprehensive assessment of where we are. With the objective being, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and its enrichment program has to be completely destroyed. I think from what I've seen, the 20,000 centrifuges, you had about 17,000 in Natanz, about 3,000 in Fordo, they are all completely destroyed. I am very confident those centrifuges are gone. The Israelis destroyed the centrifuge manufacturing production facilities that we know of. Isfahan, which is the conversion facility, key part of the fuel cycle, also appears to have been destroyed. So if you add it up from what we're seeing, massive, catastrophic setback for Iran's program.
Boom. Boom. That's all I had to hear. There goes the expert from the Pentagon, says, we effed them up. They broke. They destroyed. Their facility looks like a crater in the ground at this point. A deep crater. 18 bombs dropped on 3 facilities that were not far apart. What we see above ground has no bearing on how bad it is underground. I'm sure everything underneath the earth collapsed on itself when all that force started popping from those fireworks. I'm not kidding, folks. I'm sure there is nothing down there that is not buried or broken in rubble. Just seemed like a lot of power to me. Now, we are getting to the fact that because it was a leak, an investigation needs to happen. We need to find out who done it. Probably won't take a full 2-year investigation by James Comer. Maybe we can get it done in a couple of days by somebody asking the right questions, subpoenaing somebody in that is forced to answer for, actually just answer the right question or answer for why you allowed this or were a part of it. Now, if y'all haven't seen this yet, this is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth just laying the hammer down on him about, it's fucked up. Pardon my French, but yeah, they effed around and they found out.
You, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it. Spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done?
He's right. These soldiers, these pilots, the hundreds, if not thousands of people that were involved in this mission, they're heroes. If the world, they're heroes for fighting for their country, period. But they're heroes for fighting for world peace by helping denuclearize Iran. And that's what I call, I've heard the term denuclearization 100 times in my life, if not more. Listen to politics, especially over Russia and America, especially in the past. And let's just say, I believe that Iran was denuclearized. And I'm the one that said it first here on this channel. If it goes hashtag viral or it gets put out there, maybe I thought of it first, maybe I didn't. But I do believe that we have denuclearized Iran in probably the least diplomatic way that you can, but they went the old FAFO route by choice. They had 65 days, and then they got a 12-day war. Now it's fixed. 80 days in, folks, we got peace in the Middle East coming on strong. Ceasefire in process. Nobody's shooting at each other today, and now they're hashing out, working out the final results of this thing. Now, Carolyn Levitt actually weighed in on this as well. Because the reporters is asking. This is a hot topic, folks, no doubt about it.
Here today, I know you're looking for this leaker. Is it your belief, I know you said earlier you're not sure if it's on Capitol Hill or at the Pentagon, but is it your belief that it might be in Capitol Hill, and how confident are you that you'll find this leaker?
Well, I'm not personally looking for the leaker. The FBI is looking for the leaker, so you'll have to ask them in the Department of Justice in terms of this investigation. But you know, leaking top secret classified intelligence is a crime, and people need to be held accountable for that crime.
Can I just ask you about how you're going to be limiting intel to Congress? What would you say to lawmakers who say they have oversight privileges, they need this information?
This administration wants to ensure that classified intelligence is not ending up in irresponsible hands, and that people who have the privilege of viewing this top secret classified information are being responsible with it. And unfortunately, clearly, someone who had their hands on this, and it was a very few people, few number of people in our government who saw this report, that person was irresponsible with it, and we need to get to the bottom of it, and we need to strengthen that process to protect our national security and protect the American public. Mary Margaret, go ahead.
Sounds like they already knew who it is. It almost sounds like it's been limited down to a handful of people. And then she started talking specifically about somebody's not doing their, I guess, security job, being too lax with their information. So maybe they already know, and she's just not able to disclose it yet. I don't know. That did kind of perk my ears up a little bit there. Now, I've got two more clips for you here, folks. Now, here is the final resolution of this whole thing, but not the end of the video, almost. Laura Ingraham, I know we're not all big fans of Fox these days. Sometimes they get good reports. More than anything, I watch Fox News for the interviews. I don't watch Fox News to hear their spout, their version, their spin, but I definitely do like... Uh-oh, hold on. Got to charge up my battery. Bear with me, folks. I have got to plug it in for my broadcast dies. Okay. Save the day. Bud back here. close these other apps that decided to jump open on me last minute. Okay, bear with me, folks. I apologize. All right, had a technical emergency here, folks. My laptop was unplugged and decided to go left on me, so go ahead and get back to the broadcast.
Is the DOJ prepared to charge whoever is responsible, and what could those charges look like?
I mean, absolutely. Of course we're ready. I mean, just think for a moment. During the last administration, the Attorney General issued a memorandum that didn't allow the Department of Justice to investigate leakers without some insane level of a high level of finding that you would have to do first. We reversed that. The Attorney General Bondi reversed that over a month ago, and it's precisely for this kind of conduct, where you have some deep state intelligence personnel, not based on the facts, not based on the truth, but based on something that they want an agenda that they have to thwart President Trump. They issue something like this and then leak it to CNN and the New York Times, where
you get the gist of it, folks. We are going to demand an investigation if necessary, but we may not need that. We may need to just point out who the 2 or 3 culprits are, try to get them to voluntarily come in, and if they don't, tell them then we're going to open an investigation with all 3 U.S. suspects, and we got subpoenas coming to your house, coming to your place of work, here at the White House, ASAP. So you better start talking before this gets ugly. That's all they have to do. They can make it work without having to do a 6-month to 2-year investigation where the subpoenas never get held. I don't know what goes on with Congress. I can't speak for that. That's not here nor there, but yeah. Subpoena them, prosecute them if they refuse to cooperate. I don't know what to say about it, but that's just the facts, folks. That's what I believe needs to happen. I'm tired of these criminals running the country, running amok. And things would be all right if these Democrat crazies would just stay home and mind their own business. But we're not living in that world today. So what we got instead, we have got crazies not just running the streets, but running the government, running parts of the government, running the judiciary, and so many areas of our government that just really need to be controlled by somebody with a little bit of sanity. And we're going to call this a day, folks. Get out of here with this last video clip. I thought this was hilarious. Me and my wife laughed about this for a whole minute. But this is a pizza delivery guy watching the cops chase somebody who's driving through people's yard. I guess it's a police chase at the moment. But truth be known, it's like the Democrat Party. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Or, as they say now, FAFO. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again, folks. This is what I think about the Democrat Party. You should have just stayed home. Should have got out there acting like a fool. But instead, somebody had to intervene and fix things. Because y'all are crazy. You don't know what you're doing. And sometimes a little assistance is needed. Hats off to the pizza guy, the Uber guy, whoever he is, the guy delivering the food at the door, the Lyft guy, whatever he is. But just glad to see a concerned citizen able to step in and make a difference, save them cops from having to run a mile.
Oh, that's a high-speed chase. Yeah. That's a high-speed chase.
Yeah, you better hit my fucking car, dude.
Oh my God, Yeager! Oh my God, Yeager! There's a high-speed chase on my land! No! I'm trying to squeeze something! You idiot! Get on the ground! You idiot! Get the fuck on the ground!
Oh, he's on the ground, all right. He's still eating grass. He is picking grass out of his teeth. He went straight nosedive. He didn't see that coming. He thought he was in full sprint, and this tall guy just casually slid his leg out there. Nothing better, folks. That's good stuff right there. I love it. I love it. That is a Democrat being handled up by, most likely, a Trump supporter. Just my guess. That's what I got for you today, folks. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But if you do, FAFO, and that is the name of the game we're living in today with these tyrannical Democrats. And I'm glad that our side's finally fighting back. I'm glad to see we've got good people on our side. Good, strong-willed investigative reporters. Some people in Congress got a backbone. An awesome executive branch team built by Trump. And, of course, the best president in my lifetime running our country again, Donald J. Trump. That's what I got for you today, folks. Hopefully everybody enjoyed, but we're going to make it. We're going to be all right. Give it all up to God. And Trump, conservative movement, Republicans controlling as much of Congress, the Senate, and even your lower districts down to your school board meetings, down to your school board councilmen. We need to get sane people back in positions, and I think we're in the position to be able to do it. Just a matter of time, folks. We're going to take our country back if we haven't already, and not everybody's realized it yet. Have a good one, folks. Just something to think about. Over and out.